Hello, this is the Forex Preview here at XM.com. I'm Cristina Marucos. Joining me today is Senior Investment Analyst Rafi Boyajian, and we'll be looking at the European Central Bank meeting this Thursday. So the ECB meets on Thursday. It's expected to keep rates steady. It's also expected to outline the details of its latest round of targeted long-term refinance operations, which will launch in September. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
That is correct. So the ECB is not expected to announce any policy changes, but it's pretty certain that they will announce the full details of the TLTRO3, which is basically a scheme to encourage lending across the Eurozone by giving cheap loans to commercial banks. So it's going to be very important as to the terms that's going to be attached to these loans. The previous program actually was very generous because it had the same negative interest rate as the ECB's deposit rate, which is minus 0.4%. There's some speculation that it may not quite be as generous this time around, and if that happens to be the case, then its impact in terms of boosting lending and growth will likely be much more limited, and markets may not take that very well.
Now, there's a lot of talk about the European Central Bank's toolkit regarding easing steps if growth and inflation weaken further. Now, do you think we could see the ECB going back on the easing path if economic conditions don't improve soon?
Well, that's certainly one of its options, especially if we see continued deterioration in the Eurozone economy, particularly in Germany. The manufacturing sector there has been in a slump for some time now. So that's basically one of the things it can consider. At the moment, it's not quite there yet in terms of taking any additional policy action. But one thing that is of concern to policymakers is the inflation expectations. One market-based measure which the ECB watches closely with the inflation expectations, according to that measure, has weakened substantially in recent months. So if that continues to be the case, the ECB may eventually be forced to take more drastic actions, such as go back to quantitative easing.
And now, finally, there's a lot of talk as well concerning Italy's current economic conditions. Italy's Deputy Prime Minister, Matteo Salvini, actually called for the ECB to guarantee government debt to keep bond yields low. Now, do you think Mario Draghi will address Italy's issues at the meeting this Thursday?
Well, we can be certain he's going to be asked about Italy, but it's unlikely Mario Draghi will want to wade into a political row, which is what it is. The ECB's hands are somewhat tied as to what it can do to help individual countries, but I mean, it's very likely that the ECB is concerned about what's happening with Italy. It's rising debt levels, not just in Italy, in a few other Eurozone countries as well. But for the moment, we're unlikely to see any response by the ECB, and we're just going to wait and see how that political situation develops over the coming months.
Rafi Boyajian, thank you for joining me today. This was the Forex Preview here at XM.com.